Shivaya Parameshwaraya Shashishekaraya Namah Bhavaya Gunashambhavaya Shivatandhavaya Namah.
Namaskaaram, Jai Shri Ram. Welcome to Himalayan Seeds. My name is Monita, and in this video, I'll be sharing my experience of Bhava Spandana Program, known as BSP in short, which is an advanced meditation program designed by Sadhguru and offered by Isha Foundation. More than a year ago, I shared a video about my inner engineering experience, which I did in January 2018 in Sydney. And in that video, I mentioned that I found my guru in Sadhguru. Afterwards, I did Bhava Spandana Program in May 2018 in Melbourne, and it has a very special place in my heart. It is very sacred to me. Therefore, please watch this video only if you resonate with the work of Isha Foundation and Sadhguru. If you have completed inner engineering and thinking whether to do Bhava Spandana or not. And it's okay if you're not an Isha meditator and watching this out of curiosity, wondering whether you should try what Sadhguru or Isha has to offer. But there are people who oppose Sadhguru but would spend their time and energy watching videos of Isha meditators or about Sadhguru just to condemn and disrespect. I understand there's many ways of seeking, many paths to spirituality, just as there's many branches on a tree. So it's okay that people pick what works for them. But trying to condemn someone or something simply because one is not open to it or because of hearsay isn't really going to take one anywhere. And thousands of meditators who benefit from these practices are continuing with it anyway. So I'm thinking of covering 3 topics in this video. One is before Bhava Spandana Program, leading up to the program, then the program experience, and lastly, life after Bhava Spandana. And unlike my other videos where I'm conscious of time and I try to keep the video short, I'm going to take liberty with this video and share what I feel like. Bhava Spandana Program is available to those who have already completed inner engineering program and have been initiated into Shambhavi Mahamudra Kriya, but it is a residential program offered over 4 days. It starts early morning and goes on till evening. My family were okay with me attending this program away from home, and I thought that rather than just entertaining myself with Sadhguru's videos, if I'm serious about any kind of transformation within myself, if I genuinely want to taste what Sadhguru or a live enlightened master has to offer, then I should seize the opportunity. Well, things didn't start off smoothly. My flight kept getting delayed at the Sydney airport, then the drive to the destination was an hour and a half or more from the Melbourne airport. So these are things that one needs to keep in mind when traveling. I had organized carpooling with another meditator, Manjusha Akka and her husband, who were also from Sydney. They were very kind and didn't charge me for my share of the car rental. The program was conducted in a remote location, acres of property if I could recall well, absolutely stunning location, mountain views with a freshwater body and just so serene and peaceful. I think there were 500 participants for the program and there were lots of volunteers. We went through the registration process, handed our mobile phones, any valuables, etc. and got our room keys. So yes, mobile phones are not allowed for the duration of the program. We are provided with contact details on which our family members could reach us in the event of an emergency or should the need arise. We were not briefed much on the structure of the program. We were informed that the volunteers will knock on each door, I think at 5:30 in the morning, so that we could get up and be on time for the program to begin. And yeah, so I physically made it to the program. Now, coming to the second part, the program experience. I'm not going to give away the content of the program. We are not meant to. I think it's to prevent people from going with certain expectations already planned in their mind, either consciously or subconsciously. Also, I feel the people who have no intention to attend it don't really need to know it. PSP is not an entertainment. Spiritual path requires commitment where no one is going to praise one. Chances are people will doubt or even condemn. And harder than all this is focusing on oneself and shedding one's impurities, ego, habits, etc., while living in the world. I could share that we continued with our Shambhavi practice during the Bhava Spandana program. There are no new Kriya or meditation taught to us that we need to practice at home, and anything that we do during the program, we are not meant to repeat or try it at home. Now, when I was going for my inner engineering program, I had no idea that Shiva is an integral part of Isha Foundation and Sadhguru's work. I realized it during the program. I felt the Creator was all around me, inside me, outside me, not in terms of imagining things in my mind or seeing Shiva or God or any divine entity as they appear in idols, paintings, etc., but in terms of the energy. It was so intense and vibrant, and I felt Shiva just washed me away. I have no words to articulate it, but in simple terms, whatever we call the Creator was vibrating in the atmosphere, and the Creator and the creation were not separate. Now, it sounds ridiculous. I didn't share this in my inner engineering video because I wanted to give people only what they could perceive. But now, when I'm sharing and recalling my Bhava Spandana experience, I can't just focus on what's logic. There's a limit to logic. I'd say if you walk around with your logic shoes on, you cannot dip your toes into Bhava Spandana. The spiritual realm goes beyond logic, and experiences such as that of Bhava Spandana is perhaps outside of what modern science may be able to explain. Of course, logic is essential for how we live, but it's important to know that there is more beyond its boundaries. Bhava Spandana has the potential to give one a glimpse or an experience of what is beyond the boundaries. You know, boundaries of our five senses, our mind, the knowledge we possess, and hence it's beyond comprehension. However, I may try to share or explain, I can't give you the experience I had. It's like I can show you a pink lady apple and tell you about its properties and how it tastes, etc. We could discuss or study it like a subject. We could dissect it and examine. But instead, if you consume that apple, then I don't need to describe whether it is sweet, how sweet it is, etc. You would know it instantly, and that would remain with you throughout your life. No discussion or words would be required, and you'll never lose it. That's how Bhava Spandana experience is. For me, there were many moments during the program which made it obvious that there is more than what we perceive with our five senses. There's more to life, and there's more to us. But forgetting this, most of the time we are living in a bubble or almost in a sleep state, where life is passing as a dream, and we are hardly present to the phenomena that is available and throbbing all around us. We are not alive to the fact that we are a living being with so much potential and grandeur. We are not just a human being, we are one with everything. Now, most of us have heard that we are all interconnected, but the kind of power that comes in experiencing that interconnection and experiencing the magnitude of divine's grace that is available, it is extremely humbling and one that will live with us forever. Some form of transformation is then sure to happen. It may be subtle, or it could be obvious. It may happen straight away or gradually, but one will know that something's happening. If you're in it, you can't miss it. So during the program, there were moments when I had tears of joy and gratitude, and there were moments when I was extremely happy for no reason. I could not contain the amount of love I was experiencing. I recall when I was walking outside, I hugged the trees. I have hugged the trees in the past, but this time it was because I experienced that The energy in the trees was the same that was flowing in me. We were one in terms of the source. It felt like I'm seeing the tree for what it really is for the first time. I walked to the lakeside or river and looked around. Everything appeared brighter than before. My eyesight is pretty good, but I was thinking, has my vision enhanced? Also, everything appeared perfect just the way it was, and there was a pleasant rhythm in the atmosphere. This experience was so overwhelming, and in sheer gratitude, I started dancing. Now, I do enjoy dancing to music, but this time I was dancing to a different tune. There was no music being played as such. I wasn't hearing any dance tune, but everything was in rhythm, in motion. You may think, could it be under the influence of some kind of drugs or hallucination? Well, meditation and yoga are ancient, and what I experienced is not something unique to Isha programs. Many people have had their experiences through other forms of meditation, which we call dhyan or yoga kriyas and sadhana. So, back to my experience, I could see that that's the sky, the sun, some birds flying around. I was aware as to what they were and that this is me, this is my body here. But my experience of all was enhanced. I grew exponentially, not in my physical form, but my energy wise. And my energy extended so much that it was all me. I experienced that there is only one energy, manifesting itself in many ways and forms. And so, from the sky to the ground, from the mountains to the water body, everything and every person, including me, is just an extension of this energy. As such, I felt our differences are superficial. We are one at the core. It was very overwhelming to experience this. I was filled with compassion, gratitude, ecstasy, all at once. Even the simple act of having a meal became a profound experience. We were served high pranic vegetarian meals which were freshly prepared. There was a variety of food and the menu was different for each meal. As the days passed by and we kept getting deeper into the program, I noticed that I was consuming food or even water with so much attention and reverence, and it tasted better than how these food items tasted to me before. Now, that was food for the body. In terms of the mind, most of us carry some baggage. Sometimes it appears heavy, sometimes light. But the memory suitcase is never empty. There are some things that we carry subconsciously. By the time I attended the Bhava Spandana program, like most adults, I have had some really good experiences in my life that I'm grateful for. And I have also had some experiences that I would label as negative. Attending this program was not because of the good or bad memories, and I didn't go with the expectation that life should become easy for me. But I have always been inclined towards these things, and I wanted to understand myself better. I had looked up Jiddu Krishnamurti, Osho, Sri Sri Ravi Shankar, Neem Karoli Baba, Kabir Das, Rumi, and many more, including a lot of Western philosophers in the past. But it was during inner engineering that I found my path was of Isha. And it's not that one path is superior to the other. People often compare gurus or spiritual masters or practices, but I don't think enlightened beings have issues with each other. Coming back to BSP experience, it is an intense program, but it is not something that people cannot do. However, I found one of the practices difficult for me to keep up with at that time. And in my mind, I was thinking that I'm not sure if I could keep going. I thought, what if I will give up soon? And that very moment, I saw Sadhguru walking down the hall, inspecting everyone, going closer to some of them, checking that they could do the practice. We had our eyes closed, but for these few seconds, I could see the hall exactly the way I would see with my eyes open. I was fully conscious and I thought to myself that I've often seen people who have crossed over, who have passed away. But how come I'm seeing Sadhguru here when he's in some other country, some other time zone, doing something else? I didn't ask this as a question. I was just quietly thinking in my mind, but I received the answer from Sadhguru. He was not looking at me or talking, his lips were not moving. I was not hearing anything in my ears either. I saw that he continued monitoring the participants, but it was as if he read my mind and I received the message in my mind instantly. He said, not only you, but each one who has come here to do this program, from the youngest to the oldest, each one will be able to complete the program. That is why I am here. I will make sure everyone will be able to do it. I also got the message that everyone here was equally important to him. And then I saw him passing from my side and marching up and down the hall, checking on everyone. This, however, was a brief experience, and yes, I was able to complete the program, and so was every other participant who was there. Now, some of you may think I'm making this up or I was hallucinated, but majority of you must be aware that some people have psychic abilities, are clairvoyant, where they see things which others around them may not see. There are other similar terms for people who receive information or knowledge in their mind, or who hear things which others don't. So I'm not claiming that I'm a professional psychic, but I know that we all have intuitive ability, and just that some of us can easily tap into it than others. It's not something that I've experienced for the first time. It is also not a regular occurrence for me. But since I was a child, I have had several situations where I saw or got message, but it was always from someone who has left their physical body, or messages from divine entities. I've shared about it with my family and friends, but Sadhguru is the only person whom I've got messages from or whom I've seen somewhere when he wasn't really there physically and who is alive. I do know that many meditators have had experiences of Sadhguru that they don't know how to share, or they would rather keep it private because it won't make logic to others. But just know that I'm not the only one, and the same applies to other gurus too. As for Sadhguru, he does not encourage people to pay much attention to these experiences, whether it's an experience when one is awake or via a dream. So we shouldn't think why we didn't get the experience another person got, or focus too much on these, but it's important that we, do our kriya that we have learned and leave the rest. Although this experience happened, I was not thinking of Sadhguru. I was in awe of the volunteers. In my heart, I've thanked both my program instructors, Jean for Inner Engineering and Saurav Anna for Bhava Spandana, and I was grateful to all the volunteers. Now, each BSP participant had their own experiences and their own revelations. I can't speak on behalf of everyone, but I'd say one common thing we all felt was connectivity and inclusiveness with everything. Looking back, I would say Bhava Spandana Program is an opportunity for one to take a leap to the other side, even if for a brief moment, where our consciousness elevates and we experience everything coming out of one energy, where we find ourselves, or Shiva, where we are merged with the divine or destroyed by him. So no nonsense is left of us and we realize oneness with the Creator. This has been my experience of Bhava Spandana. Then after the program was over, the next morning when I was meant to fly home, I woke up a few seconds before my alarm went off. It was around 4 a.m. I think, and I still remember very vividly the dream I had just before waking up. I saw all the BSP participants had gathered for a group photo, and Sadhguru also came to join us. But suddenly his face started glowing and his body disappeared. So he was standing next to me with his face becoming very beautiful, and it was hanging in the air as his body was missing or could not be seen. I thought, what's going on? And just then I got a message from Raman Maharshi. He didn't reveal himself to me, but I got the message in my mind that it was him. And he said, "It is your time now to wake up and see for yourself who this person is. He is not as the world sees him. There is more to Sadhguru than what people see. It's your time to realize that. Get up." And I woke up. Within a few seconds of this message or this dream, my alarm went off. I told Manjusha Akka about it as we were sharing the same room, and we traveled to the airport together. I don't remember reading about Raman Maharshi prior to this, but I Googled and I realized that he was an enlightened being who left his body in 1950, way before I was even born. And his ashram is still near Arunachal Hill in Tamil Nadu. I'd love to visit there one day, but I note that he hardly spoke while he was alive. He would mostly sit in silence with the people or seekers visiting him. Yet I woke up with this message and I felt so energized. Again, I'll remind that Sadhguru says, don't pay much attention to your dreams or what you see. So I'm not encouraging one to get, carried away with the experiences. It's best to continue with Shambhavi or any Kriya that we may have been initiated into. Now, some people may judge me, but I'm putting my face here and sharing my journey as sincerely as I can, because even if one person will benefit from my experience, then I feel it is worth that I share. I also know that there are others who have had such experiences and they could relate to me. Coming to the third part, life after Bhava Spandana program. Everyone probably took different things home from the program. For me, two things were obvious instantly. One, that though I was content and felt complete with one child, I thought it would be good for my son to have another sibling. I knew having another child would mean I won't be able to do certain things I was planning to do in the near future, but I also knew that I was meant to welcome another child in my life at this point. The second thing was that whilst I had not forgotten the negative experiences and memories I had with a few people, it didn't bother me. I wasn't angry, annoyed, upset, or even cared about it. It felt as if it was all in my past life, and now I have no emotions attached to it. I felt really light and free. I felt liberated. I was appreciative of people in my life. I was appreciative about life itself. I wanted to say a few nice things to my dad, and I wanted to thank him, which I had done in the past, but not to the extent that I wanted to. So next thing, I called him up and I said all those things to him, and I expressed my gratitude to my parents. Since BSP program, for several weeks, every night as soon as I started drifting into sleep, I would feel a sensation from the bottom of my feet going all the way up to the top of my head, and it will keep going up and down like waves. I didn't know why this was happening, but gradually, in a few months, it stopped. The other thing was I noticed my intuition was heightened. If someone would speak nicely to my face, but were not my well-wishers in reality, who would talk to me to get something out of me or for some other motive, I would be speaking to them or listening to them, but at the same time, I was aware of their intentions. It was crystal clear. Yet I was extremely happy because I was free from the fact that it did not matter to me one bit. My mind was not annoyed or even judging them. I saw people exactly as they were and I accepted them as they were. I was in my Zen zone. I was fine within myself and I was fine with everyone else. I felt so much gratitude and contentment that I never felt before. Now, I wish it lasted all my life, but it did start to wear off after about 2 to 3 months. And after about 5 to 6 months, I was back to my usual self where I don't like fake relationships and I stay away from people I know aren't genuine towards me. Now, different people would have got different things from Bhava Spandana. It did bring a lot of changes in my life. I would not have had a second child had I not done this program. He's a bundle of energy and definitely teaching me a few things. After having my first child, I have mostly worked part-time, but around the time of BSP, I was doing well in my career. I was reaching all the milestones I wanted to. However, after Bhava Spandana and having my second child, I re-evaluated my priorities and I realized that I would be more content just living my life than pursuing more worldly success. Bhava Spandana did not make me renounce the world though. In fact, it's the opposite. I am more involved in day-to-day life. And initially, I said that I felt the same energy in all and I was fine with everyone, however they were. But after it faded away, I gained more confidence and strength to decide whom I want in my space and whom I'm better off to be away from. It's not that I did the program and everyone started liking me or I started living as my best version. I'm not implying that I'm perfect, but I try not to bother anyone and not to let anyone take advantage of me either. I think I've become assertive. Doing Bhava Spandana program doesn't mean that life will become easy and it will be happiness ever after. But there is a possibility that regardless of the outside situation, one can conduct oneself better. It's like going to heaven and realizing the value of life. The good thing is that you're not dead, you're still in your body, so you don't need to say that, okay, next time round I will be, living in a certain way. But you can start working towards that, living that way now. It's not that all my flaws have disappeared. It's not like that at all. I can get angry. I can still be misunderstood. I can cry and feel the loss and pain of, losing loved ones. There are times when I have fears and doubts, but in all of these situations, I know that I have a choice. I can suffer going through these emotions, or I can choose to recall Bhava Spandana experience and become stable. It's like each time I'm angry or upset, I know that if I want, I can step out of this and I can find my balance. However, the problem is, unfortunately, out of habit, sometimes I'm like, nah, I don't want to do that. I want to entertain this anger or, sadness or whatever emotion. But if I decide that I'm going to step out of this and I think of Bhava Spandana experience, my energy does change and I start becoming a little pleasant within myself. It's been over 5.5 years since I did BSP, and I try to remind myself of the oneness I had experienced. I try to be mindful of my actions, my words, my thoughts, and I try not to entertain negativity within as much as I can. But it is work. It is work in progress for me. One thing I'd like to do in the future, if possible, is to volunteer for Bhava Spandana program out of my selfish reason. When I participated in it, it acted like a light and made a lot of things clearer for me. And I would like the flame to keep burning and keep clearing and cleansing my impurities. It has faded so much from when I did the program, but I know that something from that would carry on throughout my life. Also, just so you know, one cannot do BSP twice. It is a program to be completed only once, so volunteering for BSP would be a good option for me. Now, if you decide to go for Bhava Spandana program after watching this video, please don't go thinking that you should have the same experience that I had. Please know that everyone gets different things and different experiences, and I feel that we get what is best for us. For example, although I am more into Isha than my husband, he had a much more powerful and profound experience than me during his inner engineering program in Melbourne, which was conducted by Sadhguru in 2019. Life has been moving very fast for me since Sadhguru entered. After Bhava Spandana, though I enjoy material things, I'm not bound by it. We have moved interstate, leaving the home that we got built in Sydney, thinking that we will live there all our lives. Letting go of things and moving out of my comfort zone, buying a house in a different state and establishing life in another place was initially very daunting. But with the flexibility came some good things too. and who knows what life has in store. Right now, I'm looking forward to attending Sadhguru's program in Sydney on 20th of January 2024. I had a great experience when Sadhguru came to Australia in 2019, so I don't want to miss this opportunity. Sadhguru does not need me to promote him, but since I'm talking about Bhava Spandana, if you're living in Australia and BSP isn't available to you yet, or you can't commit to this 4 days residential program now, then maybe you'd be interested in this 8 to 9 hours of program to be conducted by Sadhguru himself. The program is called Soak in Ecstasy of Enlightenment, and it's the first time Sadhguru will conduct this. So I can't say what it would be like, but it sounds like a perfect phase for my Bhava Spandana experience, and thus I thought to share this. Now, if you happen to go to this program or to BSP or to any other Isha programs, please don't go with expectations of what should happen. Make sure you go with an open mind and with an intent within that you're open and willing to receive what Sadhguru or the program has to offer. Before I finish, I'll quickly touch on that Bhava Spandana program is generally not offered for free. There are free satsangs here and there. Sadhguru was offering yoga for free in the past. If you're keen about it, you can find out all of that. Inner engineering was offered for free in rural areas in India when I last inquired about it prior to COVID-19 pandemic. It was open to all and not only to the people who lived in those areas. I'm not sure about it now. I've come across people who are happy to spend money on branded products, luxury cars and holidays, etc., and who can easily afford these programs. But their concern is that it should be offered for free or at a cost that they rate as reasonable. I would say that we all are, on our own journey, and people are free to spend their money on whatever they want to. Some might do these programs later, and some might not be interested in it at all, and that's fine. When I went for my Bhava Spandana, what I paid for it was standard for similar location in Australia for 4 nights with retreat. Perhaps it was cheaper, including the wholesome meals. As for the program that was offered, I can't put a price to it. Many of the participants felt that we can't put a price to what we received from the program. It was invaluable, and I feel the same about it even after more than 5 years of doing BSP. And do not think that everyone who went there were miserable people. You'll find all types of people in these programs from different backgrounds, age groups and profession. Now, whether you are aware of the scope of work that Isha Foundation and Sadhguru have been doing for several years or you don't, or whether you could relate to what I've shared or not, I wish you all the best in life. Just recollecting my Bhava Spandana experience has made me remember all the things that I wanted to do, and I need to focus on that now. The purpose of life is firstly to live, so I hope we all live it fully, regardless of the path we choose and our journey. Thank you for your time. May we all be led to light. Namaskaaram. Shambhu.
नागेन्द्राय त्रिलोचनाय भस्मांगरागाय महेश्वराय नित्याय शुद्धाय दिगंबराय तस्मै शिवाय नमः शिवाय तस्मै नकाराय नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय।